Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Disability, Relationship, and Encouragement. As you know, I'm your host, Sean Ferguson. I do this every Saturday morning, I would say between 8 or 9 o'clock. Um, I noticed one thing about YouTube is that the notification, um, they're telling me that it goes up to five um, the notification will like ring or it will give you a notification um, five video at a time. And so because if like for some people has a bunch of subscriber and things like that, you probably won't get the notification all at once. So I'm just letting you guys know like between 8 8 and 10 o'clock in the morning. Um, just watch my video between that time. It should pop up. So no, I don't do any live stream. I would like to, but I don't. But anyways, I have this encouraging video. Um, this is a story about a young lady who was born with intersex. Now, I know for some of you guys, especially people who's, very religious, that doesn't believe in, you know, let's say transgender and all that other stuff. Um, it's not like that. It's just a rare condition that women actually have. It doesn't mean that they're born a boy became a woman. No, they were born female. It's just that they have some male parts. So, and that's the rarest condition. So you just can't look at things black and white. There's sometimes a little bit of a gray area because we are born in a sinful world. So, anyways, here's a great video that you guys have to see. And um, just leave a comment on my page of what you think about this story. So here's the video.
I discovered that I was an intersex person. I had to do an ultrasound to look at my female reproductive organs, and the doctor told me that he couldn't see anything. I immediately started crying. I didn't want to date boys at that point because it's scary to just like tell them I was an intersex person. My current boyfriend, we've been together a year.
My mother, she was very cautious at the beginning. She did always know I wanted to have kids. So she's like, are you sure?
I think I was like 11 years old when I started really doing my makeup and that kind of things. I always really felt like feminine, I think, because I also just grew up with the idea that I was a girl. I'm Joyce, I'm 21 years old and I'm an intersex person. Girls have XX chromosomes, boys have XY chromosomes. I have androgen insensitivity syndrome, what basically means that I have XY chromosomes, but because I'm 100% insensitive to androgens or testosterone, I developed as a woman in the uterus. I identify as a female. I always felt like a female. So when I got my diagnosis, at first I was a bit struggling like with my own identity. I was like, am I a boy? Am I a girl? I was like 14 years old when I discovered that I was an intersex person. It was of course for all of us a shock because we didn't know what it was. I've never heard of intersex before I was diagnosed, and also my parents didn't know what it was.
Is this me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how old was I here?
7. Yeah.
And at this age, I think I was also really tall already, right?
Yes, you were always tall.
When I was younger, I went to the pediatrician regularly to get a checkup on how tall I was growing. I also had really a lot of pain in my back because I was growing so much, and I always was really, really tired.
I always thought there was something happening, but I didn't know what it was.
I went to the pediatrician with my mom for just checkup, and then they discovered that my hormone levels were really high. I needed to do an ultrasound to look at my female reproductive organs, and the doctor told me when he was doing the ultrasound that he couldn't see anything. So that was like a really big shock to me, and I immediately started crying and had an awful day that I will always remember. I think just afterwards my diagnosis, that was just the most confusing and negative time.
At the beginning, we are worried because we didn't know what intersex was. And we heard you can't have children of your own, and you are so good with children. So, yeah, we worried about that.
At that time, I was in the middle of puberty and really finding out who I was as a person. So when I got my diagnosis, it was kind of difficult for me. It was just a really hard time for all of us. But I have amazing family, and they are just really accepting and helping me also with all of the things that I went through at such a young age.
You know, there are good days and there are bad days.
Of course, that's the funny thing with intersex. You can accept yourself, but you always will have like part of your life that it is harder that you have a diagnosis. Because I see friends of mine that are gonna get pregnant and will have children, and I will be not able to have those kind of things. Sometimes it will hurt a little bit more.
I understand. That's why I'm so proud of you, because you've been strong, a strong woman about this. Ik vond het wel wat. Kijk, zie je daar even.
My current boyfriend I met on a dating app. Been together a year. In the middle of puberty, I saw a lot of my friends started dating boys, and I was just somewhere else with my head. I didn't want to date boys at that point. It was really scary to just like tell them I was an intersex person. But then I started to put that all on my social media, so I never had to like tell them face to face. So that was always like a really safe place for me to just keep the distance a little bit.
Let's go take the dogs for a walk.
I know he told a friend of his that he was matched with me on Tinder and that I'm an intersex person, and he was like, do you think I should go on a date with her? But then the friend told him like, of course, just go on a date with her. You don't know what's gonna happen, and maybe you really like her.
Before you meet with some people, you go look them up online, and you go and you try to find something about them, and it happened to be when I googled Joyce, but it's not something that held me back. I was planning on telling my parents. My sister's also a very nosy person, just like me, and she was looking up Joyce, and my mother googled her as well, so they found out through that way. They were like, hey, is there anything you want to tell us? And I was like, not particularly, because it's not like I'm ashamed or anything, but it's just like how it's quite a delicate subject sometimes. Like, how do I introduce it properly without like a stigma or anything around it?
So of course me and Gus can't have children of our own in the future because I don't have any female reproductive organs. But yeah, I still have a big wish to maybe be a mom in the future. So we discussed that we can adopt or have children through surrogacy.
My mother, she was very cautious at the beginning. She didn't always know I wanted to have kids, and so I'm quite a family person. And so she was like, are you sure? Just being a cautious parent, just warning me like, hey, have you really thought well and clear about it? But the most important thing is that you also become a parent with someone who you truly love and share a special bond with. So yeah, that's Joyce for me. Yeah.
Intersex has always been a really big taboo. I would wish that all the people knew about what intersex just basically is, so that other people that are diagnosed as an intersex person, they would see that it wasn't just really a big thing to be intersex.
I think the main reason for the stigma is people just do not understand what it entails, and if people do start to understand what it entails, it will lead to so much less confusion and maybe to perhaps more acceptance. Our relationship's like any other. It's not different from previous ones I've had, but it is possible to have a normal, meaningful relationship with someone who's intersex.
A lot of people still feel ashamed about being intersex because there wasn't being spoken about. So there are a lot of intersex persons that don't want to tell their story. So I hope my story reaches them and they see you can just talk about it and it's fine to just be who you are.
All right. I would say what an incredible story. And as you can see from this video, I mean, she's a beautiful woman. Now, um, I was thinking of someone that I know, and well, someone that I saw in the Olympics. Do you guys remember Iman Khalif? That I'm gonna show you in this video. Well, as you guys saw, everybody was like outraged, or everyone was, including most of the Christian society, which I can understand their point of view. Um, but Iman Khalif is also intersex. Um, she also has that rare condition of intersex where she has the XY chromosome. You know, she was born a woman, but she has quote unquote XY chromosome. It doesn't mean that she's a male or a female. It's just she has this rare condition. Um, Frankly, from the history and looking back on her birth certificate and everything, she is born a female, but she has the rare condition of XY chromosome, which is called intersex. So, as you guys know, this is where I came from. And, like, it was the IBA Russia that disqualified her from doing that. It wasn't all the others, So it doesn't mean that she's a boy. She's not. She's a woman, but she just has a rare condition that has that that she has XY chromosome. But anyways, I'm just gonna tell you guys what androgen insensitive syndrome is, because she said that in that video. So, the description of androgen insensitive syndrome. It's a condition that affects sexual development before birth and during puberty. People with this conditions have one X chromosome and one Y chromosome in each cell, which is typical for males. And people with androgen insensitive syndrome, the body cells and tissues are unable to respond to certain male sex hormones called androgens that are important for normal male sexual development before birth and during puberty. As a result, affected individuals may have external sex characteristics that are typical for females, or have features of both male and female sexual development. So, from what I read from the Medline Plus website, some women has different sexual part or different sexual organs, you know, and Joyce in Joyce case in this video, she doesn't have the reproductive system for women. Basically, she can't get pregnant. So, um, she can't get pregnant, but she was born a female. She just don't have uh, organs that that can make babies. That's all that is. So, um, I'll carry on. There are three forms of estrogen insensitivity syndrome: complete, partial, and mild. Um, Complete estrogen insensitivity syndrome occurs when the body does not respond to androgens at all. People with this form of the condition have external sex characteristics that are typical of females. Affected individuals do not have a uterus. So, from what you heard, they just don't have uterus in their body. So that's part of it. They have male intersex organs, um, testes that are undescended, which means they are located in the pelvis or abdomen instead of outside the body. As such, affected individuals do not menstruate and are unable to conceive a child. Infertile people with complete androgen insensitivity syndrome also have sparse or absent hair in the pubic area and under the arms. The partial and mild forms of androgen insensitivity syndrome occur when the body tissues are partially sensitive to the effects of androgens. People with partial androgen insensitivity can have genitalia that look typical for females, genitalia that have both male and female characteristics, meaning having both sex organs, um, or genitalia that look typical for males. People with mild androgen insensitivity are born with male typical sex characteristics, but they are often infertile and tend to experience breast enlargement at puberty. So, boy, um, as you can see, uh, you know, she was, born a girl, but sometimes it could get really confusing. And, like, I can understand that because when you're born, let's say both sex organs or something like that, you don't know if you're a male or a female because you have both parts. So it's like it's very confusing. You're not transgender. You're not all of that. It's just you're you just have this rare condition. It doesn't mean like oh, this person can't go in men's sports or not men's sport, or this person can't go into women's sports or something. You know, just look at Imran Khalif situation. Uh she she was born with a rare condition of XY chromosome, and and she has both male and female parts. It doesn't mean like she's a man, you know, but at the same time, you don't know if she's a woman either. So I know it's a very confusing topic and things of that nature. Now, I'll give you another terms of what intersex is. Intersex is a term used to describe people born with sex characteristics that are not typical male or female. These characteristics can include chromosome genitals, reproductive organs, secondary sex traits, and hormonal patterns. Experts estimated that up to 2% of the population is born with intersex traits. Intersex people can have any gender identity or sexual orientation, and many identify as a man or woman. Some people with intersex condition also identify as transgender, um, which that I would say that's kind of tough to believe, especially if you have both sexual organ parts. Um, it's hard to be, male or female. It's a rare condition that um, God created. It's not defective. It's God sometimes created that way, but it's just very unique, and they're not a mistake either. You know, God doesn't create people as a mistake. He creates people in all different ways to, to like use them as, his glory, you know, and so on and so forth. Doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that they are a mistake. That's all it is. Intersex people come from all races, ethnicity, social economics backgrounds, sexual orientation, faith, and pol- political I- ideology. So, I mean, it's, I would say it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. But, it's a very rare condition. Only 2% of people has that. Um, but it does not mean that they uh, are a male or a female. We don't know. We don't know what to call them, and so it does get confusing. And so what do you got to do? Um, but I know one thing: God knows who they are. They know God knows. Yes, you're a male, you're a female. I mean, He knows what type of person you are, and um, I'm pretty sure that God will bless them a lot. God will give them a lot of blessing. But in the meantime, just leave a comment on my video and just tell me what you guys think. Take care, give care, and I'll see you later. Thank you for watching this video. As you can see on the black screen, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and click the notification. Thank you.